In the annals of the Wild West, the name Jesse Evans emerges as a fearsome outlaw. He's not only the leader of the infamous Jesse Evans gang, but also a fierce rival of the legendary Billy the Kid. In this video, we dive into the mysterious life of Jesse Evans, exploring his outlaw exploits, tumultuous encounters with lawmen, and his fascinating conflict with the iconic character Billy the Kid. Jesse J. Evans is believed to have been born circa 1853, with conflicting opinions about his birthplace. Some historians say Missouri, while others say Texas. Of mixed Cherokee blood, Evans pursued his education at Washington and Lee colleges in Virginia. However, his path turned in another direction when, along with his parents, he was arrested on June 26, 1871 in Elk City, Kansas, for transferring counterfeit money. He was released soon after. In 1872, Evans moved to the rugged New Mexico territory, where he led the life of a cowboy, working on various farms, including the famous John Chisholm's farm. After finishing his work with Chisholm, Evans ventured to both Las Cruces and La Mesilla, New Mexico, where he forged a friendship with John Kinney. At the time, Kinney was leading one of the famous gangs in New Mexico territory, known as the John Kinney Gang. Evans joined the gang, and over time, he and Kinney became close. On the night of December 31, 1875, Kinney, Evans, and Pony Dial and Jim McDaniels arrived in Las Cruces. A dispute and conflict ensued between the gang members and the soldiers of the United States Cavalry Force stationed at Fort Selden. As a result, the outlaws were defeated in the confrontation and hastily retreated. However, they soon respawned, returning to open fire at the local pub, causing many casualties. During this time, it marked Jesse Evans' involvement with various outlaw gangs, encounters with law enforcement, and violent street clashes. Not long after, Kinney was injured in a gunfight and he needed time to recover. During this time, Jesse Evans and gang member Samuel Blanton shot and killed Quirino Fletcher for unknown reasons in Las Cruces. The motive behind this action remains a mystery, although it is speculated that a third gunman named Morris may have been present, although this has yet to be verified. Evans faced murder charges but was eventually acquitted due to insufficient evidence. Around this time, Jesse Evans decided to leave the John Kinney gang, starting his own notorious gang. Joining him in this new gang are several former members of the Kinney gang, such as Billy Morton, Frank Baker, Jim McDaniels, Buffalo Bill Spawn, Dolly Graham, Tom Hill, Bob Martin, Nicholas Provencio, and Manuel Segovia. Although often referred to as the Jesse Evans Gang, they refer to themselves as the Boys. From 1875 to 1880, this outlaw gang carried out a series of robberies and cattle killings, leaving their mark on the brutality of the lawless landscape of the time. In late 1877, the Murphy-Dolan faction sought the services of Jesse Evans' gang both before and during the infamous Lincoln County War, with the aim of opposing Billy the Kid and his faction. Despite the reputation Billy the Kid would later acquire as a result of the war, it is widely acknowledged that Evans was the scarier of the two outlaws. Evans and his gang relentlessly harassed rancher John Tunstall, culminating in the murder of Tunstall on February 18, 1878 by Evans, Frank Baker, William Morton, and Tom Hill. This event sparked the Lincoln County War, with Evans consistently playing a prominent role throughout the conflict. Evans's importance is often underestimated, but historical records always put him first. In subsequent letters written by Billy the Kid to Governor Lew Wallace, Evans's name was repeatedly mentioned. Billy Bonney even said in a letter that he was afraid of being assassinated by Evans. On March 6, 1878, William Morton and Frank Baker were wanted by authorities for the murder of Tunstall. That very day, Evans and Tom Hill were rustling sheep when Hill was shot dead by a shepherd, and Evans was injured. Conflict continued on April 29, 1878, when Evans led an attack that resulted in the death of regulator member Frank McNabb and wounded operator Ab Saunders. These events are testament to Jesse Evans' prominent role in the chaotic and violent events of the Lincoln County War. On April 30, 1878, a tragic event occurred in Lincoln, resulting in the deaths of Tom Green, Charles Marshall, Jim Patterson, and John Galvin, members of the Seven Rivers Warriors. Although the regulator is responsible, no conclusive evidence has been presented, and internal conflicts within Seven Rivers Warriors further complicate matters. In response, the regulators began pursuing Manuel Segovia, a member of the Seven Rivers gang suspected of causing McNabb's death, which ultimately led to Segovia's death. From July 15, 1878, Jesse Evans and his gang played an important role in the Battle of Lincoln, a bloody conflict that ensued. Casualties included 3 deaths on the regulator side and 3 deaths on the Murphy-Dolan side, with several individuals injured. After the Lincoln War ended, Evans and gang member Billy Campbell were guilty of murdering lawman Houston Chapman on February 18, 1879. Chapman was hired by Susan McSween to represent her late husband, Alexander McSween, who was killed in the Battle of Lincoln. After that, Evans and his accomplices ran away from the lawmen again. The Texas Rangers pursued them and eventually engaged in a gunfight near Presidio del Norte, Mexico. During the gunfight, Evans shot and killed Ranger George Bingham, while gang member John Gross was wounded. In addition, Ranger D.T. Carson and Ed Syker shot and killed gang member George Davis. Ranger Carson himself was also injured in the encounter. As the Rangers continued their pursuit, they lost several other members, including Dolly Graham. In the end, Jesse Evans was arrested, tried, and then sentenced to prison. However, he managed to escape during a business trip and was recaptured a few months later. After his recapture, he was held in Huntsville prison. In 1882, Evans was released from prison, disappearing from the historical record. Jesse Evans's whereabouts and fate are still a mystery, leaving unanswered questions about his eventual journey. In 1948, William V. Morrison, a probate investigator from St. Louis, Missouri, made an interesting discovery. He located an elderly individual named Joe Hines in Florida, who laid claim to the land of his deceased brother. In an interview with Morrison, Hines revealed incredible details about the Lincoln County War in New Mexico. According to Hines, he and 2 brothers, Jim McDaniels, a member of the Evans gang, and Billy the Kid, were the only surviving participants. Hines reveals her own experience in combat, but keeps Billy the Kid's identity and whereabouts a secret. Some commentators have speculated that Hines may actually be Jesse Evans, living under an alias. Undeterred, Morrison continued his quest to find the man known as Billy the Kid. In 1948, he met an elderly man named Frank J. Dalton from Lawton, Oklahoma, who boldly called himself Jesse James. Dalton further confirmed that Billy the Kid is still alive and residing in Hamilton, Texas, under the name C.V. Roberts. Intrigued by Dalton's account, Morrison sought out and spoke to Roberts, finding his story compelling enough to write a book detailing Billy the Kid's feat. However, most historians have discredited Morrison's work, casting doubt on the veracity of Roberts' claims. Around that time, Hines won the case and was granted his brother's land in North Dakota. However, whether Hines is really Jesse Evans has not been proven. Later, Morrison also attempted to track down former Evans gang member Jim McDaniels, finding him in Round Rock, Texas. McDaniels, along with Severo Gallegos, Martil Abel, Jose Montoya, Bill and Sam Jones, all of whom knew Billy the Kid, signed an affidavit verifying that Roberts was in fact Billy the Kid.
Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.